Greetings and salutations. I wanted to share some of my creativity with you today, so stay tuned and watch me working with my soap dough. This is Lauren with LKR Soap and Such and Lauren Cares Naturals. One of the really fun things I like to do, and if you followed me before, you know this, is work with soap dough. So when you are making a batch of soap, sometimes you have a little bit of excess left over from the mold, and you can pour it into a container and cover it with plastic wrap, and then after a while you can actually use it. See how soft this is? This is actually soap that I made for, I think it was my Charles Dickens snowflakes, and there was all this red left over. So I would love to make my favorite thing nowadays, wipe my hands off here for a minute, show you. One of the things I've been loving to do is make soap dough leaves and rose petals. So I'm going to do that with this bit of soap right here. It's from Hobby Lobby. You can get it in their bakery section for, or this one in particular is for leaves. And you cut out the dough with these and press them between these, and that's how you get your leaf. So I would like to use this mold for the rose petals. You can cut out the dough. I'll show you the process here in a little bit. So the first thing we need to do is get this soap dough to the place where it's not super sticky, but it is the right consistency to roll out. So I always use tapioca starch when I do this. And I lay this on the starch and then just start kneading it through it so that it's a little bit thicker. And we just play with this like you would any Play-Doh. And what I love about it is you can get yourself all totally messy and then just go into the bathroom and wash your hands and your soap's already there on your hands. So it's a really, it's just a very therapeutic time for me when I'm doing this. I used to love to play with Play-Doh as a child, and now I can play with my soap dough. So I'm going to knead this up a little bit, and then I'll come back when I roll it out and cut it. See you in a bit. Okay, I think we're going to try and roll this out a little bit. We don't want it very thick, but we don't want it so thin that it's not going to hold its shape. Let's pick it up. I think it's a little bit too thin on one area, but it might be okay. Now we'll take our largest cutter, our petal cutter, cut a portion of that. And then we want to make sure that these have plenty of flour, tapioca starch flour on them, so they don't stick, especially if this dough is not as stiff as it could be, maybe. So I'm just going to take my fingers and go over this, and then go over with this. Then you place your petal down inside there in the middle, and then put the top on and just gently press all around. When you come out of it, you've got your petals settled nicely right in there, and then you just turn it over and it naturally curls and curves, and you just leave it on that space. We'll do another one, and you just continue to do this until your dough is completely gone, used up. I just love these. They're so delicate when they're done. You may ask me, well, what about all that tapioca powder on there? Well, I'll show you how we get rid of that. This one's a little bit thicker, so it might be a little nicer. Just lightly press, and there it is, and then we just flop it over. I just think these are so sweet. You're supposed to use them with fondant to make cake flowers and that type of thing. And if they happen to stick, it can just be a broken rose petal. Yeah, it's kind of sticking right there. I'd like to share one other new thing in my life. If you've noticed my t-shirt, it says CrossFit on it. My husband has introduced me to CrossFit, and I really enjoy being able to exercise my body and stretch my body so that I am more able to sit and squat and do the things that I need to in everyday life, and I'm really excited about it. Do you know much about CrossFit? Do you think it is something that you would like to be doing? It's a very helpful tool. So with most of my soaps, I use this brown packing paper that all of my different things come in when I got my supplies. And I put them right there like that. And then I take a spritzer with some rubbing alcohol and I spritz the top. And they will dry. I'm not going to try and get all of it off right now, but that helps them to dry, and also takes that white, most of the white off of them. I may have to do it another time. Here are some of the golden leaves that I created, and I've got them here in the bathroom. They're just in a soap dish. No one has actually used them yet. There's a little bit of tapioca starch right there. But aren't they cute? I really like them. I'm really big into individual size soaps to wash with. So if you go to on a trip, you've got some of these in your purse, instead of using the hand cleaner that tends to dry your skin out, then you have one of these that you can put in your hand. So we're just I'm gonna wet the soap, wet my hands, and then I'm just gonna start rubbing this soap leaf into my hands. You can see the bubbles beginning, and you can rub it as much as you like. You see it has a lot of suds, foam, and then you can just wash your hands with what's on your hands. And there's lots of nice lather. And then rinse them off. And you can either just rinse your little leaf off and leave it for someone to discover, or you can put it in a container, dry it with the towel, put it in a container, and take it on to the next stop. So, let me know, what do you think of individual sized soap? And if you'd like some, get in touch with me. Thank you for watching. Bye, and God bless.